Jordan Peterson hit back at Meghan Markle after she used a soundbite of him in an episode of a podcast. Meghan Markle's voice drips with falsehood, according to psychologist Jordan Peterson, who's been interviewed after appearing in a soundbite during her podcast. Dr Peterson's voice appeared in an episode discussing the use of labels such as crazy, hysterical or nuts in reference to women. After introducing the topic, Meghan switches to a clip of Dr Peterson saying, "I don't think men can control crazy women." The Canadian was asked about this during an interview with Piers Morgan, uncensored on Talk TV. In response to being involved in the episode of Archetypes on Spotify, which Morgan describes as playing a villain role, Dr Peterson shared his opinion of Meghan. He said, "Her voice drips with the same falsehood that the voice of Kamala Harris drips with. It's this sanctimonious Fawkes compassionate talking down to her audience." Of the podcast, he said, "Trying to be sure that we're all really on the same compassionate page here, and we're all being victimised by terrible forces that are arrayed against us, and none of that's really fair. It just grates on me," Peterson added in his normal voice. He then went on to say, "And I do believe that it's the case that it's very difficult to control female antisocial behaviour, often of the type that's been pillared as hysterical, and I think that there's no shortage of clinical evidence to support precisely that claim." Dr Peterson said he stood by his words, claiming that it was difficult for women to control behaviour, which is seen as antisocial. He added, "It's very difficult for women to control female antisocial behaviour, and females who are antisocial, that feminine pattern is reputation salvaging under the guise of compassionate care, and it's extraordinarily destructive. So, I stand by my words." A few weeks ago, there were speculations that Prince Harry's wife wanted to have their sister-in-law Catherine, Princess of Wales, on the Spotify podcast. The rumours that Meghan Markle reached out to Catherine for a podcast began after royal expert Neil Sean mentioned it on his YouTube channel. The royal correspondent claimed that Markle made a request. However, Daily Express's royal correspondent Richard Palmer weighed in on the matter. For him, it's unlikely to happen. "I don't think so," he said on Royal Roundup. "I don't get the impression that there is much of a relationship there between them at the moment." He added, "Maybe that will change, but I think the signs of the relations are still pretty strained." It's unclear if Markle did reach out to Catherine for a podcast, and if the Princess of Wales rejected her, but the royal expert said that seeing them together on Archetypes is unlikely to happen. I think William and Kate and other members of the royal family had quite a lot of sympathy for Harry and Meghan, with some of their frustrations when they were working members of the firm. I don't think it was the case that they were completely uncaring about their concerns. Far from it. Although the royal family sympathised with the couple, the members of the firm didn't approve of Prince Harry and Markle's approach, according to Palmer. It was just they didn't agree with their approach, which was essentially to quit Britain, break the deal between the British people and the members of the royal family in terms of what information shared about things like children at christenings, and of course, declare the war on the British media, he said.